If your garden is looking a little crazy, a little messy, it's all right. So is mine. Hey everyone, welcome back to my garden. My name is Miriam and I am gardening in Zone 9B, Northern California. Today is a garden maintenance day. I've got lots to do in the garden. There are lots of different gardening tasks that you've got to do throughout your garden. And today I'm going to go through quite a few of them. Let me know in the comments what gardening maintenance tasks you're up to and if I missed anything. Would love to hear from you. Please remember, if you're feeling overwhelmed because there's just so much to do in your garden and you're like, I don't have 2-3 hours to do all this stuff. You don't need 2-3 hours. You can do one garden maintenance task a day. And that is something that is sustainable and won't have you feeling overwhelmed. As long as we get things done, it doesn't matter if we do it all in one go or little by little. Getting it done is what counts. Quite a few things going on today, so let's get to it. A thing to do in your garden is to walk around and look at your plants and ensure things are growing as you want them to grow. This is specifically important for plants that you want to climb up something. You need to train them. And one of my plants got away from me and I'm gonna catch up right now. This is an escalator zucchini and it's called an escalator because it climbs, but obviously it's not climbing anywhere, y'all. So I'm gonna work on getting this escalator zucchini tied up to our cattle panel trellis. It is gorgeous though, so beautiful. Their stems are hollow, so they are very delicate. They're so pretty. But what I have is some jute twine. This is 100% natural and so it will decompose. This is why I use it in the garden. Let me bring you closer so you can see what I'm doing. Now I am gently, very gently going up the main stem. That's all I'm doing. Very hard to do this with gloves. I'll try my best not to touch the squash. So it's not tight at all, it's really loose. Okay? We're gonna continue to tie it up. And once we have it tied, we'll be able to train the tendrils to hold on. I moved you guys over so you could see better. So the goal is not to strangle it, it's just to hold it. A benefit of having an escalator zucchini like this is that it's much easier for you to see the fruit and for pollinators to see the flowers. My struggle with zucchini has always been that the leaves get so big, you don't see the fruit underneath them. And then I end up with jumbo zucchini. So we're just gonna continue to climb up the plant, up the trellis. Another benefit is that it saves on space. Instead of having a sprawling plant, it goes up. Making use of your vertical space is so important for those of us who have limited garden space. I know my garden is bigger than average, at least in my experience, but we don't have acres and acres of land, right? And so we really want to make use of vertical space to ensure we can grow as much as possible. A third benefit of a vertical plant like this is that it's easier for you to see pests and mitigate any pest damage. Like I can go behind the trellis here and see the underneath of all the leaves. So I'm aware earlier if we have any aphids or any other issues, because they usually hide underneath the leaf. All right, so I'm just gonna tie this up. I'm gonna bring you in super close because I wanna show you these tendrils. They'll start attaching themselves to the trellis. So that's another gardening maintenance task taken care of. And the chickens, if you hear them, are happy too. I planted this about a week and a half ago, right before I went to Chicago for work. This has some beans and some kabocha squash. And the first thing I see, I don't know if you see it, is that these plants are awfully pale. They're supposed to be vibrant green, and they are going to like a chartreuse. They're super pale green, towards the yellow, right? And so that tells me there's a nitrogen deficiency here, and I'm going to address that immediately. One of the quickest ways I've found to add nitrogen to plants is using a fish fertilizer. So it's called fish emulsion or fish plant food. Whatever you see at the store, there's Neptune Harvest, there are a few of them. We're going to use that. Now this stuff has directions on the back. Be sure to read the directions. The normal rate is 2 tablespoons per gallon. This is a 2-gallon tub. And because they're seedlings, I'm not going to do the full 2 tablespoons per gallon. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons for 2 gallons. I eyeball it, y'all. It's not rocket science. I'd rather have too little than too much. And then I'm going to fill it up. A note of caution, it smells bad, so just prepare your nose. And the reason why I put it first is so that I could add the water and it mixes it naturally, so I don't have to mix it myself. So I'm just going to water at the base of each of them. And Lord willing, in the next couple of days, they'll perk right up. So what we're looking for is in the next couple of days, these plants start getting more green and have new green growth. On to the next maintenance project. Now, another item to think about as you're walking around is, are my plants sufficiently mulched? The weather is warming up. We're expecting 90 degrees or more tomorrow. And I'm looking at my sweet potatoes and there's no mulch on it. There's no mulch, y'all. So that is our next gardening maintenance task. You want to make sure all of your plants are well protected and ready for the heat. So you want to make sure to add adequate mulch. And sometimes, like for this one, this is a climbing squash here. I've got to move it because it doesn't have a place to climb onto. But however, I digress. For this one, it has mulch, but I'm going to add more. And I've got this bit of shade cloth on it because it's been wilting a bit in the sun. Another reason why I need to move it, because it is too hot in this location. But the mulch will help to keep it cool. And you don't have to do this all in one go. Each of these tasks that we're going through today can be done one a day. So if you have a schedule, you're going in the garden every morning, you just take 10 minutes and do one of these tasks. And honestly, the mulching takes, like you saw it, it's 30 seconds and we're done. So this is another gardening maintenance task. Make sure all of your plants are mulched and protected from the sun. Let's go to the next gardening task. Now, one of the most important things to do is to check your plants for any pests. So here's a tomato plant. It's still pretty small, but I'm gonna always check my tomato plants for any stems that are cut off abruptly, because that tells me that a tomato hornworm is around and is literally devouring my plants. So you wanna always do a walkthrough to ensure you don't have pests on your plant. Part of that is knowing what pests like which plants. So tomato hornworms like tomatoes. Their name is deceiving. You could also find them on pepper plants. If you got a stem that all of a sudden the leaves are gone and half of the stem is gone, look for a tomato hornworm. If you see odd little, almost like grenade-shaped pebbles around your plant, that is worm frass. It's poop. Check your plants. So these are the clues that tell you something is on your plants eating it. Thankfully, we don't have this issue here, but for many folks, especially if you're in the South, when you've got squash, you are looking for squash bugs or squash vine borers. Always check your stem, the base of your plant. If you see a hole there, if you see like something has dug into your plants, that is the squash vine borer. They lay eggs, the eggs hatch, and they bore their way into the plant and start eating it from the inside out. So you want to pay attention to that. If your squash is wilting and it's not because it's just hot, all of a sudden it's a pretty nice day and they're all wilty, check your stem, because when the squash vine borer attacks, it will deplete the reserves of that plant and it'll start dying. So you always want to check. For me, my gloves are over there. I'm not going to get my gloves. For me, I look for aphids because last year I had quite a few aphids on my zucchini. So I'm going to look for ants. If I see ants, there's a good chance that there'll be aphids. And always look underneath the leaves. Squash bugs are another pest. I don't have them, thank God, but they will lay their eggs underneath the leaves of plants. Most creatures will lay eggs underneath the leaf. That way you can't see it when you're looking out from the top, right? When you're looking from the top down, you won't be able to see it. So be sure to check under your leaves. This is true for cabbage. Obviously, we're not in the season for cabbage right now. But cabbage moths will lay their eggs underneath the leaves. And you'll only find out they're there when you start seeing holes, because the eggs hatch and the little larvae, the little green worms, will start eating your cabbage. So check underneath the leaves of your plants to ensure there are no pests hiding out there. And my last garden maintenance task is probably my least favorite. It's cleanup. I've got random items laying around. I'm gonna do a walkthrough and collect everything that does not belong. Just a lot of miscellaneous things. Some is junk. Some of it are projects, former projects. So cleaning up is the last thing I do. So there you have it, everyone. We have gone through the garden and done a garden maintenance day. I found areas where mulch was needed, either on the garden floor or in a bed. I made sure that my plants were growing the way I wanted them to. I trained them to the trellis where needed. I checked my plants for any pests or disease. I found some plants that needed to be fertilized. They were struggling a little bit, and made sure they had what they needed to be productive. I found some plants that were lacking enough mulch to keep them cool in the heat of the summer. Let me know if there's any garden maintenance tasks that maybe I missed. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Feel free to check out another video, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy gardening, everyone.